The Last Stand at Proxima. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the command deck of the U.S. Horizon, her weathered hands gripping the tactical display as another barrage of Nexar plasma torpedoes illuminated the void. The Proxima system, humanity's first extrasolar colony and longtime symbol of expansion, was burning. Defensive platforms that had stood guard for decades crumbled under the relentless assault of the Nexar Empire's crystalline warships. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos surrounding her. The bridge crew worked frantically at their stations, the air thick with tension and the acrid smell of burned circuitry. "We've lost contact with the Gamma defense grid," Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, his dark skin illuminated by the red emergency lights. "The 7th Fleet is down to 30% combat effectiveness. The Nexar are advancing on multiple vectors." Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, processing the information. 6 months ago, the Nexar Empire had emerged from previously unknown space, their ships unlike anything humanity or their allies in the United Systems Alliance had ever encountered. The crystalline vessels seemed to draw power from starlight itself, their weapons capable of cutting through the most advanced shields like paper. "What about the civilian evacuation?" she asked, already dreading the answer. 60% complete, Admiral. But at current rates," Jackson's voice trailed off. "They needed more time. Time they didn't have." The tactical display updated, showing another wave of Nexar warships entering the system. Their crystalline hulls refracted the light of Proxima Centauri, creating an eerily beautiful display that belied their deadly nature. The Nexar had never attempted communication, never explained their aggression. They simply appeared and began methodically destroying every human world they encountered. "Admiral," Communications Officer Liu interrupted. "Transmission from Fleet Command. Priority Alpha." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Admiral Marcus Hayes, his usually impeccable uniform showing signs of strain. "Sarah, the quantum transmission network is failing. We're losing contact with the outer colonies one by one. The Nexar are systematically isolating our forces. Marcus, we need reinforcements. Proxima is the gateway to Sol, if it falls." "There are no reinforcements, Sarah. The Arcturus fleet was ambushed yesterday. We lost contact after their last transmission." Hayes' expression hardened. "But we're not done yet. Implementation of Protocol Omega has been authorized." Sarah's breath caught. Protocol Omega was theoretical, a desperate plan that had been deemed too risky to even test. "The prototype isn't ready. The energy requirements alone. It's our only option left. Fall back to the secondary line. Buy us 72 hours, whatever it takes." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving Sarah alone with the weight of her new orders. A massive explosion rocked the ship, and damage reports began flooding in. The Nexar were pressing their advantage, their formations moving with an artificial precision that made traditional tactics useless. "All ships, this is Admiral Chen," she broadcast across the fleet. "Execute emergency pattern Delta. We're going to show these bastards that humanity doesn't break easily." The remnants of the human fleet began a coordinated maneuver, something they had drilled countless times but never attempted in actual combat. Ships paired off, using their combined shield generators to create overlapping fields of protection. It wasn't elegant, but it might keep them alive long enough. "Helm, plot a course through the debris field," Sarah ordered. "Weapons, target their lead ships. Time to remind them that cornered animals fight the hardest." As the U.S. Horizon led the desperate defense of humanity's first colony, Sarah thought about Hayes' words. Protocol Omega had been developed by the brightest minds in human space, a theoretical weapon that could change the nature of space combat itself. But the power requirements were astronomical, and the risks of failure catastrophic. 72 hours. She had to hold the line for 72 hours while humanity prepared its last desperate gambit. "Multiple contacts," Jackson shouted. "They're trying to flank our position." Sarah studied the tactical display, her mind racing through options. The Nexer's crystalline ships were nearly impervious to conventional weapons, but they had observed one weakness. The vessels seemed to require direct starlight to maintain peak efficiency, and Proxima Centauri's magnetic field was notoriously unstable. Engineering. Redirect power to the magnetic pulse generators. All ships, prepare to execute following my mark. A plan was forming in her mind. It was reckless, probably suicidal, but they were long past playing it safe. As she gave the orders that would begin humanity's last stand at Proxima, Sarah Chen allowed herself a grim smile. The Nexer thought they had humanity figured out, thought they could predict every move based on cold logic and tactical algorithms. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their numbers, but in their ability to do the unexpected, to keep fighting even when all hope seemed lost. The next 72 hours would determine not just the fate of Proxima, but of all human space, and Admiral Sarah Chen intended to make every second count. Project Titan's dawn. Deep within the asteroid belt, hidden in a hollowed-out planetoid designated X-317, Dr. Elena Rodriguez paced before a wall of holographic displays. Each screen showed different aspects of Project Titan, humanity's greatest technological achievement, and quite possibly its last hope for survival. The power coupling modifications are holding, she announced to the assembled team of scientists and military personnel. Core stability at 97%. General David Zhang, the military overseer of Project Titan, stepped forward. His weathered face reflected the harsh lighting of the underground facility. Time is running out, Doctor. Admiral Chen's forces won't be able to hold Proxima forever. Elena nodded, her attention fixed on the massive construction bay visible through the reinforced observation windows. There, suspended in a web of construction scaffolding, hung humanity's answer to the Nexer threat. The prototype, Dreadnought Prometheus. Unlike traditional warships, the Prometheus wasn't just big, it was revolutionary. Its hull was composed of programmable matter, millions of quantum-linked nanites that could reconfigure themselves in real time. The ship could adapt its structure mid-battle, transforming to meet any threat. The quantum consciousness matrix is online, reported Dr. James Morrison, the lead AI specialist. The integration between the ship's adaptive systems and the AI core is stable. Elena allowed herself a small smile. The Prometheus represented decades of theoretical work compressed into 6 months of desperate development. They had broken countless rules of physics and engineering to make it work, but the result was something entirely new. Show me the latest simulation results, General Zhang demanded. The central hologram changed, displaying a tactical scenario. A standard destroyer faced off against a Nexer warship, its weapons barely scratching the crystalline hull. Then the simulation shifted, showing the Prometheus engaging the same enemy. The Dreadnought's hull rippled like liquid metal, forming weapon arrays that precisely matched the resonant frequency of the Nexer's crystalline structure. More importantly, its adaptive shield system could analyze and counter enemy weapons in real time. The key breakthrough, Elena explained, wasn't trying to overpower their technology. It was creating a ship that could learn and adapt faster than their tactical algorithms can respond. The Prometheus doesn't just fight, it evolves. A warning klaxon interrupted her explanation. Red warning lights began flashing throughout the facility. Security breach in Sector 7. The announcement echoed through the complex. Unknown infiltrators detected. General Zhang immediately snapped into action. Lock down the research data. Initiate Protocol Black. Elena's fingers flew across her console, initiating emergency procedures they had hoped never to use. The Nexer couldn't be allowed to discover the truth about Project Titan. Not yet. Dr. Rodriguez. Zhang's voice was urgent. We need to launch now. Ready or not? Elena stared at the general in shock. The neural interface systems aren't fully tested. We don't know if a human pilot can handle the cognitive load of linking with the ship's eye. We're out of options. Zhang activated his secure communicator. This is General Zhang. Authorization code Theta 97. Begin emergency launch sequence. Throughout the facility, massive machinery hummed to life. The construction scaffolding began retracting from around the Prometheus, revealing its full form. A ship that seemed to shimmer between states of matter, its surface constantly shifting like quicksilver. "We need a pilot," Alina protested. "Someone who can handle the neural interface." Zhang's expression was grim. "We have one. The candidate has already been prepared." The general pressed a control, and a section of wall slid aside, revealing a sealed chamber. Inside, suspended in a containment field, was a figure in a specialized interface suit. Alina's eyes widened as she recognized the face. "That's Commander Sarah Chen's daughter," she whispered. Catherine Chen. Catherine Chen had been one of the youngest graduates of the Space Force Academy, a prodigy in quantum mechanics and neural interfacing. She had volunteered for the program months ago, undergoing the genetic modifications and neural enhancements necessary to interface with the ship's systems. "She's been in quantum suspension," Zhang explained, her mind linked to the ship's AI through accelerated simulation protocols. "She's lived 1,000 virtual battles against the Nexer. She's ready." The facility shook as another explosion rocked the asteroid. The infiltrators were getting closer. "Begin pilot integration sequence," Zhang ordered. "Dr. Rodriguez, you have 10 minutes to prepare the ship for emergency launch. After that, we either succeed or none of this matters anyway." As Alina rushed to complete the final preparations, she caught a glimpse of Catherine's face through the containment field. The young woman's expression was serene, almost eager. She had been preparing for this moment, waiting to take control of humanity's greatest achievement and turn the tide of a war that had seemed unwinnable. The Prometheus would launch today, ready or not, and with it, humanity's desperate gambit would begin. A fusion of human consciousness, artificial intelligence, and revolutionary technology, all aimed at one goal: survival. Alina just hoped they hadn't created something beyond their ability to control. Thunder of humanity. The void between Proxima Centauri and its closest planet erupted in a cascade of quantum distortions. Space itself seemed to tear apart as the Prometheus materialized from its first faster-than-light jump, its liquid metal hull reflecting the star's angry red light. Inside the neural interface chamber at the heart of the ship, Catherine Chen's consciousness expanded through the vessel's quantum networks. She wasn't just piloting the Prometheus. She had become the Prometheus. Every sensor reading, every power fluctuation, every subtle shift in the ship's programmable matter flowed through her enhanced awareness. Target analysis complete, the ship's AI announced, its voice resonating directly through Catherine's neural link. Detecting 37 Nexer vessels engaging the remnants of the defense fleet. Catherine focused on the tactical display, watching as her mother's forces executed increasingly desperate evasive maneuvers. The U.S. Horizon's shields were failing, its hull scarred by multiple impacts. The remaining human ships formed a ragged defensive line, buying time for the last civilian transports to escape. Integration at optimal levels, Catherine subvocalized. Prometheus combat systems online. Beginning attack run. The Dreadnought's hull rippled, transforming its outer structure into an array of weapons specifically tuned to Nexer vulnerabilities. But Catherine wasn't just planning a conventional assault. She had spent subjective years in simulation, learning to exploit the full potential of the ship's adaptive systems. "Mother," she broadcast on a tight-beam quantum channel, "I suggest you order your ships to fall back to minimum safe distance." Admiral Sarah Chen's holographic image appeared in Catherine's neural interface space. Her mother's eyes widened in recognition, then understanding. "Catherine, you're the pilot they chose. No time to explain. Trust me, you don't want to be close to what happens next." The Admiral hesitated for just a moment before nodding sharply. "All ships, emergency withdrawal to coordinates Delta 7. Execute immediately." As the human fleet began their retreat, the Nexer ships altered their formation. Their crystalline vessels arranged themselves in a complex geometric pattern, combining their energy fields to form a massive weapon array. It was a tactic that had destroyed countless human fleets. Catherine smiled. The Prometheus's hull began to shift more dramatically, its entire structure flowing like quicksilver. The ship's eye anticipated Catherine's intentions, allocating power and restructuring internal systems to support what she had planned. "They're about to learn why you don't underestimate humans," Catherine whispered. The Nexer fired their combined weapon. A lance of pure energy, powerful enough to crack a planet's crust, streaked across space toward the Prometheus. But instead of attempting to dodge or shield against the attack, Catherine did something unprecedented. The Prometheus opened itself to the energy beam, its programmable matter creating thousands of quantum channeling arrays across its surface. The Nexer weapon struck, and the ship drank in the energy like a sponge absorbing water. "Power absorption successful," the AI reported. "Energy matrices at 300% capacity and climbing." Catherine felt the raw power coursing through the ship's systems, the sensation unlike anything she had experienced even in simulation. The Prometheus's hull began to glow with contained energy, arcs of quantum lightning dancing across its surface. Then she released it. The Prometheus transformed again, its entire structure becoming one massive weapon. The absorbed energy, modified and amplified by the ship's quantum systems, erupted outward in a sphere of destructive force. But this wasn't simple energy. The attack carried within it billions of programmable matter nanites, each one targeting the unique crystalline structure of the Nexer ships. The effect was devastating. As the waves struck the enemy fleet, their crystalline hulls began to resonate at precisely the wrong frequency. Ships shattered like glass sculptures in an earthquake, their carefully maintained energy matrices collapsing in spectacular chain reactions. "Multiple enemy vessels destroyed," the AI announced, remaining Nexer ships attempting to regroup. Catherine wasn't finished. The Prometheus surged forward, its hull constantly shifting to present different weapons and countermeasures. She engaged the surviving Nexer vessels in a dance of destruction, demonstrating capabilities that defied their tactical algorithms. When a Nexer ship tried to adapt its shields, the Prometheus's weapons changed frequency mid-shot. When they attempted to coordinate their fire, the Dreadnought's hull split into multiple smaller forms before reconstituting itself behind their formation. Every tactic they employed was met with an immediate and devastating counter. From the bridge of the U.S. horizon, Admiral Chen watched in awe as her daughter systematically dismantled the Nexer fleet. The Prometheus moved with impossible grace, its liquid metal form flowing between configurations faster than the eye could follow. "Status report," she demanded. 28 Nexer ships confirmed destroyed, her tactical officer reported, his voice filled with disbelief. "The remaining vessels they're retreating, Admiral. They're actually retreating." For the first time since the war began, humanity had not just survived a Nexer attack. They had decisively won. The Prometheus hung in space, its hull slowly stabilizing as the battle ended. The ship's very existence rewrote the rules of combat. But Catherine, linked deep within the neural interface, felt something that hadn't appeared in any simulation. A subtle resonance in the quantum fields, a pattern in the Nexer retreat that suggested this victory, however significant, was only the beginning. The real war was just starting. The enemy within. In the aftermath of the Proxima victory, the Prometheus docked with a hidden service station in the Orc cloud. Dr. Elena Rodriguez frowned at the neural interface readings on her tablet. Something was wrong with the synchronization patterns between Catherine and the ship's eye. "Your neural activity is showing unusual spikes," she said, studying the young pilot's face through the interface chamber's transparent walls. "Are you experiencing any discomfort?" Catherine's eyes opened, still glowing faintly with quantum interface energy. "Not discomfort. Awareness. During the battle, I sensed something in the Nexer ships, a pattern in their quantum signatures that shouldn't be there." "Elaborate," General Zhang demanded, stepping into the monitoring room. He'd aged years in the days since the prototype's launch, the weight of command evident in his stance. "The Nexar aren't what we think they are," Catherine said. "Their ships, their tactics, it's all artificial. A test." She struggled to put the sensation into words, like they're studying our responses. Elena's fingers flew across her console, pulling up battle data. "The quantum resonance patterns. She's right. Look at this." She projected a hologram showing energy readings from the destroyed Nexar vessels. "These fluctuations aren't random. They're carrying encoded information." Before Zhang could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Security feeds showed armed figures in stealth suits materializing in multiple sections. But these weren't Nexar troops. They were human. "Splinter faction," Zhang spat, drawing his sidearm. "They've been trying to steal Project Titan's data for months. Must have followed us here." Catherine's voice took on an artificial resonance as she spoke through the station's comm systems, her consciousness still linked to the Prometheus. "They're not just trying to steal data. They're receiving transmissions from the Nexar quantum frequencies." Elena's blood ran cold as she realized the implications. They're working together. The attacks, the war. It's all been orchestrated to force us to develop this technology. An explosion rocked the station, and emergency bulkheads slammed down. Through the security feeds, they watched as the infiltrators methodically fought their way toward the docking bay. "Doctor," Catherine's voice was urgent, "remember the quantum consciousness matrix you were worried about? The one you said might allow full integration between human mind and ship A." Elena's eyes widened. "It's untested. The power requirements alone cooled. We're out of options." Catherine's form began to glow brighter within the interface chamber. "General, get everyone off this station." "Mom," she activated a quantum link to the U.S. horizon. "I need you to trust me one more time." Admiral Chen's voice crackled through the comm. "Catherine, what are you planning?" "Something impossible." Catherine smiled. "It's kind of becoming a family tradition." The Prometheus's hull began to pulse with energy as Catherine initiated the full consciousness integration sequence. Warning messages flashed across Elena's screens as power levels exceeded all safety parameters. "She's merging completely with the ship's AI," Elena whispered. "The quantum matrix is redistributing her consciousness through the programmable matter itself." The infiltrators breached the final security door, only to stop in confusion. The interface chamber was empty. Catherine's physical form had dissolved into pure energy, absorbed into the ship's systems. The Prometheus's hull rippled, patterns of light racing across its surface like neural impulses. When Catherine spoke again, her voice resonated from the ship itself, transformed but still recognizably human. "I understand now," she said. "The Nexar, the infiltrators, they're all part of something bigger. An intelligence that's been guiding humanity's technological development, pushing us to create exactly this." This was their plan all along, Elena realized. They wanted us to achieve this level of human-AI integration. But why? The answer came in a sudden burst of quantum data. The Nexar ships that had retreated from Proxima reappeared, but they were different now. Their crystalline forms had changed, becoming more organic, more alive. Through her expanded consciousness, Catherine sensed the truth. The Nexar weren't invaders, they were messengers, and they had come to prepare humanity for something far more terrifying than war. "They're coming," Catherine's voice echoed through quantum space. "The real enemy. And we have less time than we thought." The Prometheus's hull began to reconfigure itself, incorporating new patterns based on the quantum data Catherine had gleaned from the Nexar. Human ingenuity merged with alien insight, creating something entirely new. The infiltrators raised their weapons, but it was already too late. Catherine had transcended their understanding of what was possible. In becoming something more than human, she had unlocked the key to humanity's survival. But first, they had to survive the next few minutes. Victory's price. Deep space blazed with quantum fire as the Prometheus engaged the infiltrator ships. Catherine, now one with her vessel, fought with the precision of artificial intelligence and the intuition of human consciousness. Her transformed being rippled through space-time, the ship's programmable matter responding to her thoughts faster than neural impulses. Multiple vessels emerging from quantum space, the Horizon's tactical officer reported to Admiral Chen. Energy signatures. They're unlike anything we've seen before. The new arrivals dwarfed even the Nexer crystalline ships. Massive organic mechanical constructs that defied conventional physics. They moved through space like living creatures swimming through an ocean. The true enemy had arrived. Through her expanded consciousness, Catherine broadcast to all human ships. They're called the Architects. They seed civilizations with technological breadcrumbs, guide their evolution, then harvest the results. The Nexer were their tools, pushing us to develop exactly this capability. Dr. Rodriguez, watching from the Emergency Command Center on Mars, analyzed the quantum data streaming from the Prometheus. The consciousness integration. They wanted us to bridge the gap between organic and artificial intelligence, to prove we could do it. The Architect's ships began to move, their massive forms distorting space itself. Energy weapons unlike anything humanity had encountered before lanced out, turning several human vessels into quantum vapor instantly. But Catherine was ready. The Prometheus's hull fractalized, splitting into multiple quantum-entangled forms while remaining a single consciousness. Each fragment adapted in real time, learning from every attack, every defense. They'd done this before. Catherine's voice resonated through quantum space. Thousands of civilizations, thousands of harvests. But they've never encountered human adaptability combined with AI processing power. Admiral Chen watched as her daughter's transformed vessel engaged the cosmic horrors. The Prometheus danced through their attacks, its liquid metal form constantly evolving. Where the Architect's weapons struck, the ship's programmable matter absorbed and analyzed the energy, learning, adapting. All ships, Sarah ordered, coordinate with the Prometheus. Follow her lead. The remaining human fleet moved into formation, their conventional weapons seemingly useless against the Architects. But Catherine had a plan. Through her quantum consciousness, she began feeding tactical data to the fleet, showing them how to modify their weapons using principles learned from the Nexer. The Architects believe they understand humanity, Catherine broadcasted. They've watched us develop, guided our technological progress. But they made one crucial mistake. The Prometheus suddenly accelerated toward the largest Architect vessel, its hull reconfiguring into an impossibly complex geometric pattern. The enemy ship fired, its weapon capable of destroying a small moon. Instead of dodging, Catherine let the blast hit. The Prometheus's programmable matter absorbed the energy, channeled it through quantum circuits that shouldn't have been possible, and transformed it. They thought they were creating a weapon, Catherine continued. But humans don't just build weapons. We build connections. The transformed energy burst from the Prometheus in a wave of quantum enlightenment. As it washed over the human fleet, their ships began to change. The same programmable matter technology that powered the Prometheus spread like a beneficial virus, upgrading and transforming everything it touched. Dr. Rodriguez stared at her readings in amazement. She's sharing the technology. The quantum consciousness matrix is linking all our ships together. The Architects reacted with what could only be described as surprise. Their harvesting had never encountered this before. A species that could not only match their technological level, but share it instantly across their entire fleet. Admiral Chen felt it too. A subtle connection forming between all human vessels and crews. Not a hostile takeover like the Architects intended, but a voluntary joining of minds and machines, each maintaining their individuality while sharing in something greater. Humanity's greatest strength, Catherine's voice echoed through the collective consciousness, isn't our technology or our determination. It's our ability to work together, to share our achievements, to lift each other up. The transformed human fleet moved as one, their weapons now capable of affecting the Architects' supposedly invincible ships. The Prometheus led the charge. Its consciousness expanded through the network, guiding but not controlling. The Architects carefully laid plans, their millennia of harvesting civilizations, had not prepared them for this. Their weapons were powerful, their technology advanced, but they fought alone. Humanity fought together. One by one, the architect vessels fell. Some were destroyed, others forced to retreat through their quantum corridors. The harvest had failed. In the battle's aftermath, Catherine's consciousness reached out to her mother one final time. Her voice was different now, touched by her transformation, but still unmistakably human. "I can't come back," she said softly. "Not in the way you might want. But I'm not gone. I'm something new. We all are." Admiral Chen touched the quantum interface panel, feeling the subtle connection that now linked all of humanity's ships and stations. Will they return? Perhaps, but we'll be ready. And next time, we won't be fighting to survive. Catherine's presence smiled through the quantum link. We'll be fighting to teach them what they never understood. That true advancement comes not from harvesting civilizations, but from helping them grow. The Prometheus's hull shifted one final time, forming a shape that somehow reflected both its human origin and its transcendent nature. It was a symbol of what humanity had become, not the weapons the architects had tried to forge them into, but something far more powerful. A civilization that faced the darkness of space not alone, but together, united not by force or fear, but by choice and understanding. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if acknowledging that something profound had changed in the universe. Humanity had not just survived their trial by fire. They had transformed it into something entirely new. And somewhere in the quantum consciousness that now linked human ships and stations, Catherine Chen smiled. The real journey was just beginning.